Hi, I'm Robin, and welcome to Robin Wilkinson Yoga. Today, we're going to focus on a nice yoga sequence for sleep. And this should take about 15 minutes. So 15 minutes of your time, I recommend doing this particular sequence before bed, hoping that you can get to bed right after this. So we'll begin in an easy seated position. I'm sitting on a blanket, as you can see, and I've got just my sit bones, little bony part there, right on the edge of the blanket. Sitting up nice and tall, so I'm not doing this. Just taking a moment to lengthen the spine through the crown of the head, as if a string is pulling the top of your head to the ceiling. Palms can face up or down. And begin to slow your breathing. Maybe closing the eyes. Setting the intention for your practice tonight. This practice is based on Yin Yoga. Yin Yoga is different in that we hold the poses for about 3 minutes, and we also are focusing on releasing the fascia, the tissues in your body, not necessarily the muscles. So I'm going to ask you in each pose to go to right where you start to feel sensation and then stay there. And find the stillness in the pose. The mind will begin to wander, and when it does, just go right back to focusing on your breath. Let's start with a 3-part breath, placing one hand on your belly, the other hand on your chest. On the inhale, you're going to fill the belly with air, then the ribs are going to expand, and then the chest will lift. On the exhale, you're going to draw the belly inward, the ribs will come inward, and the chest will deflate. This is our 3-part breath in yoga. Inhale, filling the belly, the ribs, the chest. Exhale, releasing the belly, drawing it inward, releasing the ribs, releasing the chest. Take a few moments to do this on your own. Even creating an ocean wave sound on the exhale by closing the back of your throat just a little bit. Releasing the hands back down to the knees. Begin to open the eyes again. Return your breath to normal. Fill the space that you've already created with your 3-part breathing. Our next pose, we're going to take the soles of the feet together, staying on our blanket, sitting up nice and tall. In Yin Yoga, it's okay to curve the back. So, as I begin to go forward towards my feet, the back can bend and curve. Now, wherever you start to feel sensation is where you stop. So for me today, it's right here. I feel this in my hips, my lower back, all the way up my spine. This is where we stay. Remembering to focus on the breathing, maybe the coolness of the air around you. Now, if this is too intense, come up a little. If it's not intense enough, go down. Some people may double their fists and rest their forehead on their fists. Others may be able to take their head all the way to their feet. So don't look around. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing in a yoga class. And if you're at home doing this video, maybe you're alone, don't worry about what you look like, because everyone is going to look different. Staying in this pose a little bit longer. I also have a bolster that we'll use, but if you have a pillow at home, that'll work too. And here's another option. So in Yin Yoga, there's lots of different options. There's not just one way to do it, and there's not a way that you have to look. So in other styles of yoga, we're going to notice if the shoulders are here or here, or if your arms are straight, or where's your knee pointing, all of those things. But in Yin Yoga, we don't worry about that. So we don't use the body to get into a pose. We use the pose to get into the body. So think about that for a moment. We use the pose to get in to the body. And then wherever you are in this pose, very, very slowly come up out of the pose. In Yin, we always come out of our poses very slowly. Remove the pillow if you had it there. Let's take those knees together. Maybe take your hands behind you, and then just take the knees side to side. We call this a windshield wiper. So you're just releasing the hips and the low back, and it feels good. So our next pose is going to be one that you're probably familiar with, but it's called Child's Pose. Child's Pose is a resting pose, so in all the types of yoga. And so we're going to come into that today. Coming into tabletop, which is hands and knees. And then you're going to take the hips back over the heels, moving your blanket if you'd like. Knees can be together or apart. It's whatever is most comfortable for you. I've got my diffuser here with my lavender essential oil. Move that out of the way. And then just begin to sink the hips back over the heels. Take the forehead down to the mat. Walk the hands out in front of you. Feel the lengthening in the spine. Notice where you're feeling this pose the most. Is it in your hips? Is it in your lower back or your upper back? Staying in this pose, finding your edge, finding your stillness, focusing on your breath. Maybe even practicing your 3-part breathing here. On the inhale, filling the back side of the body, the lower back, the mid back, the upper back. Releasing and relaxing the lower back on the exhale, the mid back, and the upper back. Taking a few more breaths here. With each exhale, releasing the hips, relaxing the shoulders. And then on the next inhale, slowly, ever so slowly, begin to walk the hands towards you and lift your torso back up. Bring the knees together and then out to the side. Bring them back in front of you. And we'll take a windshield wiper here, just releasing that pose. Feeling the space that you've created in your lower back. And then coming back to neutral, we'll take the left leg behind you and your right leg is going to come in front of you. So you're making like a right angle here and here. And sitting up nice and tall, take your pillow and place it lengthwise to your right side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, let's turn to the side of the pillow. And then on the next exhale, slowly taking the torso down onto the pillow. Your head can go this way, so you're facing the front of your mat. Or if you need a little bit more sensation, you can turn your head towards the back. So that gives you a little more of a gentle twist. And you may even start out this way, and then as time goes on and your body relaxes and releases into the pose, you can turn your head towards the back. So we don't force it. In Yin, we're getting into the deeper tissues. We're increasing our flexibility, our joint mobility. We're resting. We're finding peace and stillness in our day. That's why I think that practicing Yin Yoga before bedtime is such a great way to induce some wonderful sleep. At least that's been my experience. Now, if you'd like to try and turn your head in the opposite direction. I'm going to keep my head this way so I can talk to you. You can hear my voice. So in Yin, time is more important than intensity. So we're not forcing our body into a pose. We're not using our body to get into a pose. We're using the pose to get into the body. I'm repeating that because it's so important in Yin Yoga. Just let your body be supported in this pose. Let the head weigh heavy on the pillow. Feel the gentle twisting in the back Then a few more breaths. We'll switch to the other side. On the next inhale, taking those hands underneath your shoulders and beginning to slowly push up. Taking the knees out in front of you, doing our resetting pose if you'd like. Always a nice way to transition. And then we'll take our pillow to the opposite side. Move my basket here. And then we're going to take the right leg behind us. The left leg is in front, and the shin is parallel to the front of your mat. And inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, just turn towards your pillow or bolster, and then gently lower down. Oh, my back just popped. Just releasing, noticing how this side feels different than the other side. Oftentimes, each side of the body holds different tension. So this side may feel better, may have a little more tension, a little more sensation. So just finding that edge of sensation and then staying there. So I don't want you to be in pain. You should never be in pain, but you should have some sensation. And then oftentimes in twisting poses, our breath wants to shorten. So maybe just going back to that 3-part breath. Belly, ribs, chest, releasing belly, ribs, chest. And then as the body starts to relax into the pose, just letting the breath come naturally. So Yin Yoga is the opposite of Yang or Yang types of yoga, more energetic, vinyasa flows, probably what you think of when you think of yoga. And so even controlling our breath and making that ocean sound can be a little more Yang or Yang than we'd like in Yin Yoga. But it serves the purpose to remind us to slow our breathing, remind us to breathe. And then if you'd like, turning your head to the opposite side behind you. Again, I'll turn my head forward so I can talk to you. I feel like I could just hang out here for a while. Very relaxing. Just a few more breaths here. And then on the next inhale, taking those hands underneath your shoulders and just starting to slowly and gently rise up and twist and bring those feet back to the front, taking one last windshield wiper to release our lower back and our hips. So that is a little taste of Yin Yoga, and I hope that if you are having trouble sleeping or relaxing, or you're going through a lot of stress right now, I hope that this video helps you. And if you'd like more videos on Yin Yoga, just let me know, and I'd be happy to post a few more. So thank you so much for being here. Namaste.